So, when a marriage ends, the shared home, well, it can become a real battleground, emotionally and financially. Today, we're going to demystify the one document that's actually designed to bring some clarity to all that chaos, the divorce home appraisal. Let's just be real for a second. A home is so much more than just an asset on a spreadsheet, right? It's where you've built memories, it's the center of your family's life. But during a divorce, all of that emotional value just crashes head on with a cold, hard financial reality. And this is the question that sits at the very heart of so many disputes. It feels almost impossible, doesn't it? How can you possibly agree on one single number when feelings and finances are all tangled up together? It's a really tough question, for sure. But the legal system, it demands a clear answer. And that answer can't just be a guess or some number you pulled off a website. Nope, it has to come from a very specific, very specialized document, one that is literally built to withstand the scrutiny of a court. And that document is the divorce appraisal. You should think of it less like a simple price tag and more like a tool. It's a tool that's specifically designed to bring fairness, clarity, and honestly, some legal stability to a really difficult situation. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand that this is not the same thing as the appraisal you got when you bought the house. A mortgage appraisal, that's for a lender. Its whole job is to make sure the loan is secure. But a divorce appraisal, that's for the court. Its entire purpose is to come up with a detailed, legally defensible value that can hold up under a microscope. Okay, so let's lock in that definition. A divorce appraisal is a detailed, impartial valuation. The key words there are impartial and defensible. See, the appraiser isn't on anyone's side. They're just following a strict national rulebook, it's called USPAP, to produce a number that everyone involved in the legal process can actually trust. So how does an appraiser actually build this bulletproof report? Well, it all kicks off with a visit to the property. Let's take a look at what they're actually looking for during that on-site inspection. And believe me, this is no casual walkthrough. The appraiser is basically a detective, documenting everything. They're measuring the square footage, they're checking the condition of all the big stuff, the roof, the foundation, and they're making notes on any recent renovations or, repairs that are needed. They are creating a super detailed, factual record of the home's exact condition, and it's all backed up by tons of photos. Okay, so the inspection is done, all that data has been collected. Now for the big question. How does all of that information get turned into one single number? Let's break down the method behind the math. The main way they do it is something called the sales comparison approach, and it's actually pretty logical. First, the appraiser finds recent sales of really similar nearby homes. We call those comps. Then they compare your home to those comps, feature by feature. Now, this next step is critical. They make financial adjustments for any differences they find. And finally, they weigh all that data to land on a final opinion of value. And this chart is a brilliant way to see how those adjustments work. Just look at this simplified grid. Okay, let's say your home has 4 bedrooms, but comp number 2 over there only has 3. See that? The appraiser might add $10,000 to its sale price to make it more like your house. If your home is in good condition and comp 2 is only fair, boom, another adjustment is made. But if comp 2 has a slightly bigger lot, they might subtract a little value. This whole process is repeated over and over for different features and multiple comps to really zero in on a defensible value for your home. So after all that analysis, you get the final report. And let's be honest, this document can look pretty intimidating. So let's decode it together and point out what you really need to be looking for. The entire report really boils down to this one crucial term, fair market value. And the definition is very specific. It's the most probable price a property would get in a competitive, open market. It's not the highest price you could ever dream of, and it's not a lowball fire sale price. It's the realistic, probable value. Now, here's another critical detail that's super easy to miss: the date of value. The appraisal isn't necessarily for today's date. The value is actually pinned to a specific point in time, usually the date of legal separation or some other date the lawyers have agreed on. And this is so important because real estate markets can change fast, and the valuation has to reflect the value on that one specific, legally relevant day. I love this quote because it just perfectly sums up the whole point of the document. You should really think of it as a financial biography of your home. It's not a sales brochure. It's a factual story about the property's value, and it's written for a very, very specific audience, a judge. So, what's the one thing you absolutely have to remember from all this? It's simple. Always, always review the full, detailed appraisal report with your attorney. You've got to understand exactly how the appraiser got to their conclusion and double check that all the basic facts about your house are accurate. And all of this brings us to our final thought. The appraisal gives you this powerful, impartial, and defensible number. But does that really mean it's the final word, or is it just the official starting point for negotiation? How you answer that question can often set the course for how you'll end up dividing one of life's most significant assets.